A man police describe as one of Chattanooga's most dangerous offenders becomes a victim in a double homicide.
Jamoke Johnson was killed in a shooting back on Friday that police say was gang-related. News Channel 9's Alana LaFleur shows us what we've learned about the investigation and Johnson's past. Alana.
Calvin, Latricia, Johnson has a criminal history in the federal prison system. Today, District Attorney Neil Pinkston says he had a chance to get out of that life, but ended right back in it. A violent weekend in Chattanooga involved a man leaders described in 2013 as one of the most dangerous offenders in the city. Jamoke Johnson was shot and killed Friday night.
He had been validated as a gang member.
Police say he was in this crashed car with Christopher Woodard, also found dead with gunshot wounds. Johnson was sentenced to 65 months in federal prison in January 2015 after pleading guilty to selling crack cocaine. But the U.S. Marshal's Office says Johnson was released to a halfway house on Macaulay Avenue less than 2 years later. The Federal Bureau of Prisons website lists Johnson as escaped as of January 12, 2017.
He was a responsibility of, as you said, the federal prison system, and our fugitive unit, the U.S. Marshals and their team were actively looking for him.
The U.S. Marshal's Office says Johnson was a walk away from the halfway house. Marshals had an active warrant for him and were looking for him when he was shot and killed Friday. Hamilton County District Attorney Neil Pinkston says Johnson had a long criminal past, but only a couple of the charges stuck.
A number of domestic violence charges. His name was always mentioned at the forefront of a number of shootings.
Pinkston says Johnson was different. He was trying to turn his life around after an anonymous donor offered to pay for his college education.
Everyone was hopeful that with the opportunity, the chances that he had that were presented to him, that his life would end up differently. So, and it didn't. So that's unfortunate.
Pinkston doesn't think Johnson made it through his first semester. A new life that just didn't manifest.
Gun violence, gang violence usually ends up with people either being seriously hurt or murdered or going off to prison for long periods of time. So there doesn't seem to be anything in between those options.
The DA's office said Christopher Woodard, the other victim of that shooting on Friday, is not a gang member. Chattanooga Police Chief Fred Fletcher says there's already been retaliation for the killings, so they've upped their patrols and even has TBI and DEA agents also on the streets to stay ahead of the violence. Latricia.
Alana, thank you. Chattanooga Police announced a new piece of technology they are using to investigate Woodard and Johnson's death.